Hey, it's Jared. Welcome to my tech channel. Today we're going to be unboxing and setting up a brand new Samsung Galaxy S25. Now, I have the S25 Ultra for myself, and I purchased an S25 for my mother to replace an old phone that she's been using for the last 4 or 5 years. The S25 is a fantastic phone, but if you're not coming from another Samsung phone, then the setup process and getting to understand your device might be a little bit challenging. I know my mom is kind of navigating this new phone that has a different user interface and some different apps and stuff like that. And so hopefully a video like this will be helpful for you. And I also have my Samsung Galaxy course that walks you through everything that you need to know about a Galaxy phone. So if you want to go beyond what you're learning in this video, then you'll definitely want to check out that course linked in the description below. So we have the Galaxy S25 brand new in the box here. Now, it's a fantastic phone because of its size, and it has great cameras, and there's just amazing features all around on this phone. And I think that's what makes it such a fantastic device. Plus the promotions that typically are available for it make it priced really well. So we have the phone here, and then we have the inside that pulls out of the box, and we have some instructions and probably a SIM card tool and stuff. There's a SIM card tool right there. And we also have our charging cable in here. So we would remove the charging cable. We definitely want that. There's just a tidbit of information in there, nothing too crazy. We've got the charging cable, and then we also have our SIM card tool. Now, these days, most cell phone carriers, especially here in the US, don't require a physical SIM card. But you can simply install the SIM card from your previous phone if you have a nano SIM, and I'll talk about that when we look at the SIM card. You could still install a physical SIM card into your phone, and you might want to do that, especially if you're traveling and you end up using a prepaid SIM card so that you can talk and text and all of that stuff when you're traveling. But you can use a digital SIM in the phone as well. And the eSIM is probably the best option because then that leaves your SIM card tray open and available for a physical SIM should you want to go that route if you're traveling. So I purchased this device from Google Fi, and so Google Fi has a little insert in here, and typically there would be an insert from whatever manufacturer you purchase the phone from. And this is an unlocked version of the phone. That means that I can use this phone with any carrier. It's not locked to a specific carrier. Some carriers, if you buy the phone from them, like AT&T, Verizon, maybe T-Mobile, it will be locked to that provider. You can get the phone unlocked. It doesn't mean that it's locked to it forever, but you can get the phone unlocked. But if you're in some sort of a contract or an agreement with them, some sort of service agreement, the phone's going to be locked until you satisfy that agreement, whatever it is. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pull the cover off the front of the phone. Typically, you would want to charge your phone for a little while. I like to plug in the phone and charge it up to 100% before doing much with it, but we're just going to go ahead and press down this button, and this button is going to power on the phone. Sometimes you have to press it for a few seconds, and then the phone will power on after a few additional seconds. There we go. So we've got the Samsung Galaxy logo. This would be a good time to get our USB-C cable. This is a USB-C to USB-C cable. So you would need some sort of a charging brick that would accept USB-C. One that I really like is this particular charging brick right here from, it's called Bwine, B-W-I-N-E. And this has USB Type A, which is the bigger USB that you're probably familiar with. We've got USB Type C. We've got 2 of them here. And so we could plug USB-C into this and then plug USB-C into the bottom of our phone and charge it. What I like about this is that it's about the same width as a plug. And I'm sure you've had many charging adapters in the past where you go to plug them in and it covers up another plug, whether it be the outlet below it, or if you're plugging into a surge protector, you can't use the plug next to it. This is the same width as the plug. And it's long, of course, because it can't go wider because of the size of it. So it is a little bit long, but it leaves free all of your additional outlets that you would have in any direction. So I really like it for that. And this does support fast charging. So your phone also has a fast charge option. So when you plug in your phone to charge it, it will recognize that it's connected to a fast charging brick and your phone will charge up really fast. Okay, so we're going to get into the setup process. you'll be here on your welcome screen. And from your welcome screen, there's not much you can do other than start setting up the phone. There's some accessibility options here. Should you want to set up the phone for a person that's hard of hearing or can't see that well or struggles with vision. And so you can change some accessibility settings there. You can also change your language. Let's go ahead and hit start. Now, when we hit start, we will agree to all of the terms and conditions. And then here you're presented with an option to transfer data from your other phone. Now, if you have another Galaxy or Android device, you can go through the process here. You would scan this QR code with your other phone. So you would turn on the camera, scan the QR code, and then tap the little icon that shows up that would take you to a website. And it's going to have you download an app so that you can do the transfer process between your new Galaxy phone and your old Galaxy or Android phone. Now, if you're on an iPhone or an iPad, you would simply connect to the same Wi-Fi network and then follow the instructions there. So I would connect to my Wi-Fi network and follow the instructions to do the transfer between an iPhone or an iPad. Now, you don't have to do this process right now. You can simply finish setting up the phone, and then once you have your phone working, you can go and sync things over. I'm going to walk you through each of the options there that are available for syncing stuff over. With Android, it doesn't really matter what device you're coming from because all of our apps are from the Google Play Store, and because of that, it makes it really easy for us to download apps that we had on a previous device. So let's go ahead and connect to a Wi-Fi network. So you'll select your Wi-Fi network from that list, and then you'll enter the password to your Wi-Fi network. Because this phone isn't activated yet, I don't have any cell service on this device. This is a device that I purchased and it has not been activated to my wireless account yet. If you purchased your phone from a store or directly from the carrier, chances are they may have activated it for you already. But in the case that they did not, you definitely need to use your Wi-Fi to finish the setup on the phone. And we will be walking through how to go through and activate your phone or to check and make sure that it has been activated properly. So now that we're connected to Wi-Fi, we can click on Next, and it will prepare for mobile connection. This is where the phone is going to attempt to contact all of the different carriers and see if the phone is already connected. Right now, this phone is not, so it's not going to find anything, but this is where if your phone was activated already, but just not set up yet, it would send a signal out to the carriers, find the carrier that has this phone connected to it, and then pull down that information that the phone needs so that it can activate. Because I haven't activated this phone yet to a line, we'll be doing this manually later. Now, this is where we copy our apps and data. Now, because we didn't use the restore option at the beginning, this gives us another opportunity to copy stuff over from our other device. So I'll hit next, and here's where it's asking me again if I have another device that I want to transfer from. So if I hit next, then it takes me to transfer your data. I'll hit agree. I'm going to go ahead and give it permission, and it will ask to select a source. Now, this is basically the same thing that we were presented with at the beginning of the setup process, except just a different looking screen. So if I hit Galaxy or Android, I can choose wireless or cable. Now, wireless means that as long as my other phone is connected to the same Wi-Fi network, I can do a transfer. Or if I want to do it faster, I could connect a cable to my Galaxy S25 and then connect the other end of that cable to my old Android phone. Of course, you would need to have a USB-C phone if you were going to use this cable, or you would need some sort of an adapter if your older phone was not USB-C and it was perhaps another cable type. And so that's where things could maybe get a little bit tricky when doing a transfer. And so wireless might be the best option. So if we chose wireless, then we need to open the Smart Switch app on our old device. Now, that's where earlier, when scanning that QR code, would get that information onto our other device. It would give us instructions on how to install the Smart Switch app. However, if you're going from one Android phone to another, so your old phone is an Android phone and you're moving over to this new one, all you have to do is go into the Google Play Store and install the Samsung Smart Switch app and then open that app and follow the instructions. Right here, it even gives us instructions. Get this on your old device, other Android phone or tablet, or a Samsung phone. And so it will send us appropriate instructions on how to do that. Cable is very simple. We just plug a cable into the bottom of the phone. You can see here that it's saying we might need some sort of an adapter depending on the phone. So we plug the cable into the bottom of our phone and then plug the other end of the cable into our other phone and then follow the easy on-screen instructions. The iPad or iPhone is going to work in a similar way with cable. We can connect a cable here and then connect a cable to our iPhone. This also may be tricky because this is a USB-C port on the bottom of this. And if you have an older iPhone that still has the Lightning port, this cable is not going to work. You're not going to be able to go USB-C to USB-C because maybe your older iPhone is Lightning port. So you would only be able to use this cable if you were going from this phone to an iPhone that also has USB-C, which is only iPhones in the last couple of years. All right, so this process might be a little bit trickier, and we're just going to bypass that. You can buy cables that are USB-C to Lightning, and I'll link one of those down in the description below if that's something that you want to do. To be honest, I found the transfer process of going from an iPhone to Android can be kind of a pain, and it's easier just to not copy stuff and just bypass and go and install things manually. And I'll show you exactly how we can go and install some of our stuff once we get the phone set up here. So now it's going to ask you to log into your Google account. Because this is Android, it utilizes Google as a main account that it's tied to. And so I would type in my email address. And then right now it's asking me to set up screen lock to use passkeys. This is something I'm seeing because I have a passkey set up for logging into my Gmail account. If you don't have that, then you're going to enter your password and then probably enter a verification code right after that. So I'm going to use a different device and log in that way. So now that I've logged in with my Google account, which is also my Gmail account, I am asked if I'm going to be using this device or if a child will be using this device. I'm seeing this screen because I'm using the family sharing option with Google and Gmail. So you might not see this unless you have children that are minors on your account. And so since I'm using this device, I'm going to choose I will be using this device and hit next. Now I'll just need to scroll down and hit yes, I'm in, and I agree. And it's going to get my Google account and bring that into my phone. So now I need to protect my phone. So the first thing I'm going to do is use a PIN as an option. So I'm going to go ahead and enter my PIN that I want here. And then I just need to approve some of the Google services. Once we get our phone set up, we'll go and look at thumbprint unlock and also setting up face unlock so that you have a variety of different ways to unlock your Galaxy S25. So I'm going to turn on backup because I want my information backing up to Google. The reason that I want it backing up to Google, and we can also have it back up to Samsung, but the reason that I want it backing up to Google is because if I decide to go with a different phone besides Samsung next time, I want to make sure that all of my stuff is backed up to Google as well. So it's giving me a little bit of information on how to use Gemini, our AI personal assistant. This particular phone has Gemini and it also has Bixby. It has like 2 AI assistants, but primarily you use Gemini. And so it says press and hold the side button to talk to Gemini, or you could just say, hey Google, and on the next screen you can use Gemini. And so we'll just hit that. We'll turn on that so that we can have the voice activation on the next screen there. Now it's giving us the option to sign into our Samsung account. This is where we can back everything up to our Samsung account as well. And I definitely want this. And so if you have a Samsung account, you can go ahead and enter your email address. So now your phone's going to walk you through the process of how to activate using that term right there. If I say it again, it's going to set off other devices in my room. But if you have done this before on another device, you're not going to have to do it again. But essentially what this allows you to do is to say that, and then you can search. You can ask your phone to open up apps. You can basically do a Google search. You can do basic AI things, and you can do all of that hands-free with your phone. So for me, it says it's ready because it already has my voice set up. If you have not done this before, then it will walk you through the process of setting up your voice. So I'll hit next. Then we're back here on this screen here with the Samsung sign in. You can sign in with your Samsung account, or you can sign in with a Google account. But if you don't have an account yet, just choose this option here so that you can create an account. Or if you don't know what your password is, you can also do a password reset there. Once you're signed in, we have some more things to agree to. So I'll just tap on all because I'm fine with all of these. I want that turn on offline finding on. And we'll talk about that here in a couple of seconds. Now, for me, because I just signed into an account I already had and I have two-factor enabled, which I highly recommend because it adds additional security, I have to enter that one-time code into the box so that it can finish logging me in. Now we have Galaxy AI, which is also called Bixby. So we've already looked at Gemini and activated that. This is Bixby essentially, or Galaxy AI. I don't, maybe they're rebranding it eventually, but they still call it Bixby. This allows some additional features on the phone. And so we'll tap on next for that. Here's the Bixby screen, and we'll tap on that. And we'll hit more just to give it permission to everything and hit next. We'll hit agree. Now you can choose light mode or dark mode for your device. I'm going to go ahead and leave my phone in light mode, but I can change it to dark mode and I can go and change these settings later. I can also enable dark mode to set around sunset. So there's ways to automate having light mode during the day and having dark mode at night. And we'll talk about a few of the different ways that you can customize your phone. So now we can see what's new, or we can just hit home and go to our home screen. Now that we're on our home screen, our phone is essentially set up and ready to go. Now, I mentioned before that the phone has not been activated to a cellular service yet. Now, I did purchase this device from Google Fi, but it doesn't have the Google Fi app installed. So I would need to go to the Play Store and then do a search for Google Fi and install the Google Fi app. Now, Google Fi is just one of many carriers. You typically don't need to install the carrier app for AT&T or Verizon or T-Mobile, but you can install the app to manage your account. With Google Fi, you install the app to actually connect the phone to your account. So I would then hit open to open the app, tap get started. I can tap on my email address that's already been set up in the phone, and then I would go through the process of moving my phone number over from my other phone to this device. And that, of course, is specific to Google Fi. If you've made it this far and you're using AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, or most other carriers, you would want to follow the instructions that they provide for activating your phone. Now, the next video you'll want to watch after this is the 10 things that I changed first on my Samsung Galaxy S25, because there are things that I want to change, like how fast the screen goes dim. It's set to 30 seconds, and 30 seconds is just too fast for the screen to go dim. Things like that will customize and improve the experience that you have with your Samsung phone. So make sure to check out that video after you get done with this one. So now that we have our phone on the home screen, we simply swipe up to get access to all of our apps. You can see we swipe side to side with the apps here. And we added that Google Fi app. It's not alphabetic, as you can see. It just adds apps to the end and continues to fill up pages. I prefer to have all of my apps listed alphabetically. But you can also use this view and tap and hold on apps and move them around. And so you can see we just tapped and held on an app and drag it to a new position, and we can reposition our apps here. So you can choose to have your apps like this, or we can tap here, tap on sort, and choose alphabetical order. And now we scroll up and down for our entire list of apps. And whenever we install a new app, it's going to be listed alphabetically. For me, this works just a little bit better for my brain than having the pages and having to swipe between pages. Just swiping up and down works well for me. You can see that some apps are in folders and other apps are not. We also have a search box down here that allows us to search for apps, and you can see it also gives us access to suggested apps here that we might want as well. So when we swipe up and tap on search, this might be some recent apps that we had been using. And so this is going to automatically update based on apps that you're using most often. And we can also search other things in our phone as well from that search page. What's confusing is that we have another search box right here. This search box is a Google search. And so when we tap in this box to do a search, we're getting a Google search instead of a search of our phone. So this bar here is for searching Google. If we swipe up and then tap here in the search box, we can also use voice to search our phone and all of the information that's on our phone. Another confusing thing, if you're brand new to Samsung, is the Play Store and the Samsung Store. If we go into the Samsung Store here, this store allows us to shop for apps. We've got apps and games and all of that stuff in here. So what's the difference? Why would we choose the Samsung App Store versus the Play Store? Well, to me, I would not use the Samsung store. I would actually just remove it from your home screen like that and simply use the Play Store. Because if you ever decide to go with a different manufacturer of phone, maybe next time you don't get a Samsung phone and instead you get a Motorola or some other Android phone. Any apps that you've purchased and used within the Samsung App Store are not going to transfer over to those other devices. And so you might end up having to repurchase an app again if it was an app that you bought or an app that you did some in-app purchasing in. You would have to purchase that again. So personally, I highly recommend using the Google Play Store because that one's going to be available across all sorts of different devices. Obviously, if you decide to switch to an Apple device, or if you're switching from an Apple device, your purchases are not going to transfer over. If you bought some apps on an iPhone and you're transferring over to a Galaxy phone, those purchases are not going to transfer over. So you have to buy apps over again, and vice versa. If you go from a Samsung over to an Apple device, you'll have to buy those apps again over on that device. So if we swipe over to the left side here, we get a Google page that's going to give us information that it thinks is relevant for us. And this is going to be personalized based on your usage of Google. So for me, it's showing me some stocks I might be interested in, some sports teams I'm interested in, some YouTube videos, and there's an ad there, some other information that I might be interested in. Obviously, it's showing me a lot of stuff about drones, but it's showing me a lot of tech and music related stuff because that's typically what I am browsing on YouTube and searching for on Google. So this page automatically updates all the time with new information. So every time you swipe over to it, there's going to be new stuff for you to check out over there. And because we don't have any additional pages of apps or widgets, we can't swipe over to the other side. But if we tap and hold on our screen, we can add another page. So we just hit plus to add another page. And now we have a blank page. And if we swipe over to the side, you can see we have nothing there yet. If I tap and hold, I can go and add a widget to it. So let's add a steps widget to that. So we'll just go ahead and tap on add, and it's added a steps widget. If I tap on this, it's going to walk me through the setup process of Samsung Health. So before we do that, let's look at some of the apps that we have on here that are from Samsung. We have a calculator, very simple, easy to use calculator. We have our calendar, which this might be confusing. Allow calendar to access your calendar. This is essentially asking it if it can access your Google Calendar because I logged into Google, and so I'll hit allow and we'll allow notifications, and then it would start to sync over everything that I might have in that Google Calendar within a little bit of time here. We have our camera app, which we'll look at in a minute. We have our clock. We'll just hit OK, and we can set different alarms. We can view world clock. We can view a stopwatch, and we can set timers here as well with quick buttons that make it easy to launch predetermined set timers. We can view all of our contacts here, which are automatically syncing over from my Google account. This phone comes with Facebook pre-installed. We also have our photo gallery, which is empty right now because I haven't taken any photos yet with this phone. Gaming Hub is a tool that allows your phone to be optimized for playing games. It also gives you a place to discover new games. So I don't typically do anything in here. Like I said, I buy my apps and games from the Google Play Store. So I don't do anything with the Gaming Hub. I just allow it to exist. I don't delete it. I just allow it to be there because it does have some optimization features like Game Booster, which will allow my phone to perform a little bit differently when playing games. No real settings that you need to change there. Samsung provides its own internet browser called Samsung Internet. Essentially, this is the same thing as using Google's browser, which is Chrome right here. So we could use Google's browser. If you're using Chrome on other devices, it makes sense to use Chrome on your device here as well, because our search history and everything that we would be using in our browser on our computer or other devices is going to sync over here as well, including our browsing history, bookmarks, and all of that stuff. So if you use Chrome on one device, you should use Chrome probably on all devices because that stuff will all sync over. This device also comes with Netflix pre-installed. There's Samsung News. Samsung also has a Notes app that will just quickly take a look at here. We can easily create notes here. We can also draw on our screen as well as typing in our notes. You also give your note a title. You can add folders. You can add notes to favorites as well. And then you can also create a cover for this as well. So for example, if you were using this for journaling or logging specific types of information, you can really customize that and make it look nice. And there's a whole bunch of different formatting options down here, as well as some AI tools for notes as well. We can auto format the text that we put in here. We can ask it to summarize. We can check our spelling and grammar. We can sketch to image or even translate. So because I typed on spelling and grammar, I can hit show corrections, and it's gonna suggest here typing out notes instead of typing in out notes, which that's makes plenty of sense. So we'll just hit replace, and it's going to go ahead and update my text. So nice little features within the Notes app there. We also still have that Store app, which I pretty much just ignore. There's a tips application that will give you tips on how to best use your device. And we have some other apps that are starting to install. And because I logged into my Google account in the Play Store, it's going to sync over some of those apps. And so those are going to start to load in the background and copy over to this device. That's why I have YouTube Music here. So looking at our homepage apps, we have the phone app, which we have the keypad, recent calls, and then we have contacts. Now, if you're coming from another phone, you might be used to having a favorites button down here as well. Samsung has the favorites merged in with the rest of the contacts. You can see here I've got my profile, I have some favorites, and then it goes down into the alphabet, and I have in alphabetic order all the rest of my contacts. And so your favorites are merged in with that. We also have our text messaging or our messaging app. We're going to allow it to sign in with my Google account. And I don't have any messages here, but I can tap on this icon to send a message. And then this icon right here is for chatting with Gemini. So I could chat back and forth with Gemini, asking it questions, which is your personalized AI tool on the phone. And that allows me to ask it questions and all of that stuff right from within the Messages app, which is kind of neat. Here we have the Google Chrome icon, which we already looked at Google Chrome and talked a little bit about. And then we have our camera application. And so our camera has a lot of stuff. I could do a whole video just on the camera application. We can swipe between different photo modes, photo, video. We can also go to more, where there are a lot of other options such as slow motion, panoramic, or even some specialty camera options like taking pictures of food and stuff like that. And so we'll just go right back into camera. If we tap on this icon, it would take us to our photo gallery. If we tap on this icon, it would take us to our front-facing camera. So I could see myself there, and then we'll tap back and go to our rear-facing camera. This icon here gives us access to all of our camera settings, which might be a little daunting. If you want to learn a lot more about using the camera on your Galaxy phone, then I highly recommend taking my course that I talked about at the beginning of this video, which is linked down in the description below. Up here, we can choose between 12 megapixel and 50 megapixel images. We can turn our flash off, set it to auto, or set it to go on all the time. And then we also have live photos or motion photos, which means it's going to take a picture and a very short video clip along with it. I really like having that feature turned on. And then we also have some filters that we can automatically apply to our photo before taking the picture. I recommend applying filters after you take a picture, just so that you have the opportunity. Because if you apply a filter to a photo and then take the photo, that filter is now on your photo. And I would prefer to have the original photo so that I can make changes to it later. So I talked about putting a SIM card in your phone and how to do that. Here we have the SIM card tool. And on the bottom of the phone, we have this SIM card slot right here. Now, if we gently slide that in and then apply a little bit of pressure, it's going to pop that SIM card tray out, and we would just use our fingertip here and pull the tray right out. Now we would put the SIM card in here, and there's only one way the SIM card could go in because it has a little notch on the corner of it. And so you would want the contacts of that pointing upwards. So the contacts on the SIM card want to be facing upward, not downward towards the base. And once you have that in place, you'll make sure it's snug in there. And so hold it upside down, make sure that that's not going to fall out. And then you go and slide the SIM card tray right back into your phone and press it in. It should not take any force or any crazy amount of pressure. It should slide in, and then it just takes a little bit to push it in because that does have a water seal on it to make sure that the phone is protected against water. So once you install a SIM card into your phone, it's going to recognize that that SIM card is there. It may take a couple of seconds, and then chances are the phone's going to ask you if it can restart, because when you insert a new SIM card into your phone, you need to restart the phone so that the phone goes through its check process of checking for towers and connection. It does that typically on startup, and it's just best just to do a phone restart after that. So after a restart, our phone is ready to go and we can swipe up. I'll enter in my code just to get into our phone. So the last two things we're going to look at, one is how to check your notifications. You can see that it gives us a little tutorial here. You swipe on the left like 3/4 of the side of the screen to get to notifications, and you swipe from the top right-hand corner to get to your quick settings. So these are all of our notifications, and we can swipe them to make them go away or hit clear just to clear all of them. So swiping down from the top gets us notifications, and honestly, we can swipe pretty much from anywhere on the screen. I can swipe anywhere in here and I'm getting notifications. If I want my quick settings, I swipe from the top right-hand corner and I have all of my quick settings, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, a bunch of other settings for the phone. We have our brightness, our audio levels, and then a bunch of other options as well. I can swipe down on this to get access to more settings. And then if I want to go into the settings app, I can tap on that icon right here to go straight to the settings app. And then I can browse all of the different settings that are in our phone. Now, there are a lot of settings in here. So I typically use the search icon here, and then I'll search for enable face recognition. And so I'll choose the register face option. It's going to ask me to enter in my PIN code, and then it will walk me through the process of registering my face. So we'll go ahead and hold it up, and it's asking me to tilt up my phone. Now it's asking me to take off my glasses because I wear glasses. So we'll go ahead and do that. It's registering my face, and now it has completed that process of registering my face. And so now I have some settings: face unlock, stay on lock screen until swipe. I turn this off, and this is probably something that I'll talk about in my settings video. When I tap on it and go to unlock my phone, I don't want it to stay on this screen. I want it to go to the home screen. Having it unlock and stay on this screen is kind of annoying, and then I have to swipe up. I would rather have it go directly to my home screen, so I'll just turn that one off. Every other setting here is fine. Now we can also add additional things, like we might want to add fingerprint, because if we're struggling on a bright day or something to get our phone unlocked with our face, we could just go ahead and use our thumbprint instead. And the thumbprint is right in the middle of the screen here. So you can see here, it's walking me through the process of registering my thumbprint. And this is also the area that we would use our thumbprint to unlock our phone if it was locked. So I'm just going to hit done, and we'll go ahead and close our phone. I'll bring it back. You can see the fingerprint right there. I just put my thumbprint there, and the phone is unlocked. So hopefully by now you have a pretty good idea of how to just navigate and get around your phone. I definitely went into a few more things than I probably wanted to, and that's why this video ended up so long. So if you're still watching, I really appreciate it. And I would also appreciate you giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel so you can get updates when I put out new videos. Now, if you want to master your Samsung Galaxy device and know how to take better pictures and use all of the apps, then you definitely need to check out my course, which is linked down in the description below. It is your ultimate guide to your Galaxy device. But that's going to do it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you either in the course or in the next video on this channel. We'll see ya.